Hi, everybody. So today, what I want to talk about is something I call your practice to play ratio. So as we work towards you becoming more successful in your approach when you're talking to a referral partner, trying to get an appointment with a referral partner, meeting with a referral partner, talking to customers, getting a client to want to come to work with you, and agreeing to do their loan with you. This all comes down to how well you deliver that information to somebody and whether or not it sounds articulate and confident and it sounds like you're somebody that they want to work with. So we do a lot of work on the phone. We talk about that all the time. And we have to get that customer to know, like, and trust us enough to share their social security number with us, having never met us, and in a really short period of time. And it can be done. It's done all the time, but it's not done if you don't sound like you know what you're talking about. It's not done if you sound unsure of yourself, and it's not done if you're not likable, trustworthy, and somebody that they like and that they feel like they've made a connection. That's the know, like, and trust part. So a few years ago, I did a training manual here back in 2002, and it was called How to Make $200,000 a Year at Fairway. We were with Fairway then, and today it's like that number's funny because of the same amount of business. You make twice as much now. Anyway, I did a section there called Your Practice to Play Ratio. And what I did is I had talked about how at the time, Joe Montana, had recently retired. And at the time, Joe Montana was considered one of the top quarterbacks in the NFL. He had actually been traded by the 49ers to the Kansas City Chiefs. Imagine trading a 4-time Super Bowl champion to another team. And so they traded him and he got a $10 million contract for 3 years. That's like a joke now. That's like a bad contract for an NFL quarterback because these guys are getting paid. I don't know what Patrick Mahomes is getting. I think it's like $30 million a year. But anyway, $10 million over 3 years. Patrick Mahomes making 10 times that now. That's funny. At the time, he was quoted as saying that he worked approximately 60 hours a week, each week, in preparation for the game that was coming up the next week. And so the 60 hours a week included things like analyzing last week's game film. We're going to talk a little bit more about game film in a second, but analyzing last week's game film and seeing what they could have done better, what the things they could improve on, studying next week's team on film, right? So they're going to watch film for the following week, building and studying a game plan for the week that's up ahead, actual field practice time, time with the trainers, time in the gym, working out. Today, you look at somebody like Tom Brady, who invests so much in his taking care of his body so that he could play the game longer. He played until he was 44. Now he just came out of retirement. I'm recording this the day after he announced he's coming out of retirement after 5 weeks of retiring. Anyway, at the time, it was $10 million over 3 seasons, which worked out at the time to $238,000 for each 1-hour game that he played. So he got paid $238,000 an hour, right, for the work, for the actual performance. 60 hours to prepare for 1 game. So that's a 60-to-1 practice to play ratio. And so here's my question. What's your practice to play ratio? Like, how often, I know you don't get paid $10 million a year, or $3 million a year, but it's feasible that you could in 2022, you could get paid that much if you were doing enough volume, right? So how much do you practice at a 60-to-1 practice to play ratio? Is your performance so good when you sit down, when you call a real estate agent to get an appointment, when you meet with a real estate agent, when you talk to a customer for the first time? Is your performance so good that they're dying to work with you, that it's worth $238,000 an hour, which is what he got paid for a game? Here's the thing about that 60-to-1 ratio. He was only on the field for about 30 minutes a game. So in reality, he's got 120 hours to 120-to-1 practice to play ratio. And so that's the deal. That's the point that I want to make here, is that you have an opportunity in this industry to make incredible income and deliver incredible advice and just make such a dramatic impact on people's lives, but also with your own and for your family, that you like the question is, how much are you practicing? So if you come to work and this is when you don't really practice this at all, and you just come to work and you make a few calls and you talk to a few people, and then you go home and you watch basketball all night, or you go to the bar, or you're not doing anything for personal development, you're not doing anything for professional development, and that you wonder why you're not, earning top level income, you're not practicing enough, you're not studying this, you're not becoming as good as you could become. So the point about the 60 to 1 or the 121, I don't know what you have to do. I just know that we can all make a much bigger investment in our development to make that kind of income. And so practice a lot and play a lot so that you can become great. That's my answer. You don't want to practice during the game, right? So if Joe Montana spent a couple hours, what would that game look like? What would any game look like if there wasn't any plan, if there was no practice, if there was no preparation? Those games would be terrible. None of us would watch the NFL. So that's my challenge to you. So there you go. Practice to play.
We're talking about practice.
Practice a lot.
We're talking about practice, man.
Practice.
What are we talking about?
Practice a lot.
Practice?
Practice to play.